It is here in this small mountain town in the north of India that the Tibetans are able to uphold their unique culture. Thousands of Tibetan refugees live here together with tourists, Indian merchants, a large community of leapers, and incredibly friendly monks, of course, as well as a group of jovial monkeys. Seeing these friendly faces, it is easy to forget that the Tibetans who live here have escaped the totalitarian regime and made their way across the Himalayan mountains at the risk of losing their limbs to frostbite or being sent back at the Nepalese border. Yet hundreds more make their way across the mountains every year. It was in 1949 that the so-called liberation of Tibet took place, and the People's Liberation Army of China walked in. The 6,000 volunteer freedom fighters didn't stand a chance, and in 1959 the Dalai Lama escaped to India. As a result, the Tibetans slowly lost their culture, religion and language. Yet the Tibetans never gave up their faith, their belief and their hope. The Dalai Lama has recently adopted the so-called middle way approach, asking China for autonomy of Tibet while still remaining under Chinese governance. However, there has not been a response from China, and people within his own government seem to be divided about whether this is the right approach to take.
In support of their stand, they have always brought forward among our people two very important points. One, they say that the middle way approach is the ultimate wish of His Holiness the Dalai Lama himself. That His Holiness Dalai Lama's ultimate wish, that it is his original wish that he is for the middle way approach. The solution to the Tibetan problem is the middle way approach. I contest that very strongly. I have done that. I will do it in the future till my death, or till Tibet becomes completely independent and free.
Unfortunately, as China's economic as well as political power is growing, leaders worldwide are more and more reluctant to put any type of pressure upon China in order to make democratic changes and stop its human rights abuses in Tibet. In fact, the 2008 Olympics are scheduled to be held in Beijing. If you would like to make any difference, and if you would like to help the Tibetan people, please visit the following website. Although China is paying lip service to human rights, torture and incarceration of so-called dissidents continues to this day, as many of the newly arriving refugees to India bear witness. One young man I interviewed was imprisoned for 2 years, merely for having relatives who'd escaped to India. He later asked me not to use the material for fear of endangering his relatives still living in Tibet. In his words, "They will not kill us anymore, but work with fear and take away our culture." Massive population transfer has become another strategy pursued by Chinese authorities turning Tibetans into a minority in their own country.